right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word in truth and in all sincerity. Shalom. All right, and shalom to the sincere sisters as well that are out there tuning in. I want to do this very quick stream. As you can see, it's a response to a video I was watching earlier. I didn't get a chance to finish it. From Elder Yashawamba, as it's entitled, "Dealing with These Torah Only Jakes," man. You know, and I got a few scriptures in mind that I want to hit dealing with this subject matter. But you know, in the past, one thing I will say about these Torah only Israelites is that they're some of the most disrespectful, hypocritical individuals you will ever run into. They don't deal with the scriptures in sincerity. Even when I was meditating on this, I was like, they only push the law, which they don't keep and don't know, because out of just blatant, it's just hate of Yahweh. It's this hate of a Messiah. It's hate of there being a person, quote unquote, a person that is set forth to save us. All right. That's why I say they're some of the most disrespectful, out of order, grimy, dirty, and I'm just calling it for what it is. Sometimes in this thing, you get to a point where you're trying to save face, and you're trying to be all politically correct for the camera, but the truth of the matter is that, as the scriptures say, we hate them who hate thee, O Lord. And if you hate who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which his name is Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, if you hate him, then you hate the Lord, because that's his begotten son. All right, so we're not gonna make this, we're gonna get straight to it. All right, first one I want to go to is the book of Psalms, because you had this guy come up to our camp a few weeks ago, and he was one of these Torah only type of Israelites, or Old Testament type of Israelites, whatever, either one, because some of them are which either both of them are just as wrong. It's just one is a slight bit better, but still not, it's still wrong. Some believe in the whole Old Testament, the laws and the prophecies, and then some just believe in the laws. Which, if we're waking up to the fact of being Israelites, then what's next? And they never have an answer for it. They never can tell you what's next. So now that we're Israelites, what would be the next thing for us? We're waking up we're here. We are. Do you believe that we're in captivity? Do you believe that we're how do we get out of this captivity? These are questions, and these are things that they never touch on, outside of just somewhat this ignorant idea of delivering themselves through the purchasing of land and shit like that. Which, if you knew biblical prophecy, you would know that this land is slated to be utterly destroyed. Okay, but let me get this scripture. All right. This is Psalms 2, and I'm going to go to 6. Psalms 2 and 6 on down. All right. And it reads, "Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion." So who is this king? Okay. Who is this king? You gotta give us who is this talking about? Okay. Now reading on. Now who is the king that is set upon the holy hill of Zion? All right. Now we know that you could say the kingdom of heaven. All right. The earthly king, I will say, is King David. That's why it's the house of David, which, how do I word this? The house of David is only, it's but a sector of the kingdom of heaven, which is the Lord's. Okay, like the scriptures say that when you read and you read about in the New Testament dealing with Peter, that Peter was given the king the keys of the of heaven, basically, which were the same keys that were given to King David. That's why we believe through the Spirit that King David came back in the reincarnation as Peter. Okay, now dealing with that subject matter of David, David is our king, which I will get. All right, like Elder Yashawamba went in the lesson as well. King David plays a major portion. He's a major figure in the scriptures and in biblical prophecy and in the history. He's, like I said, when you understand the scriptures, which I'm going to get, he is our earthly king. But who does he answer to? See, there's a hierarchy, all right, which even King David acknowledges Yahweh Shai. All right, he knew of a Messiah. All right. Now this is Hosea 3:4, and it says, "For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their power, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his in the latter days." So again, when you read Hosea, when you read Amos, the house of David was given to David through Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, so he's not this king that was set upon that holy hill. All right. When you read in Kings, the Lord told King David that his hands was too bloody to even build him the temple of the Lord, but who shall come after him, all right, he shall be his son. All right. Now, which son was that? You can't, and he shall, man, I wish I would, if I wasn't going live, I would get it. I'm forgetting exactly where that is. I know it's in Kings. But but Yahweh Shai was that individual that came. All right, that would be punished for his iniquities. All right, King Solomon wasn't punished for his iniquities. He died of an old age. So who was that died and was punished for his iniquities by stripes? These are all key things. Who was beaten with stripes? See, these are all things that are markers for us to know and be able to go through the history, go through the genealogies, go through the bloodlines, go through these different things, the history, the prophecies, and come to the realization that the ones who will come to deliver us would come in the name of Yahweh Shai, which we are at the end of that. We're waiting on his second coming. Again, if you don't believe, if you even believe in any of even the Torah itself speaks of Yahweh Shai or a Messiah. We through faith, we call on the name of Yahweh Shai. All right, but these individuals, they don't even believe in a Messiah, which the Messiah is found through the whole volume of the book. All right, so going back to Psalms 2, and it reads Psalms 2:7, and it says, "And I will declare the decree, the Lord say unto me, Thou art my son, and this day have I begotten thee." So let's see what they have here in the So let's just keep going. I didn't know if there was any good scriptures in the side that they would link up to it. Now, verse 8, ask of me, I shall give thee the heathens for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thine possession. So who is this going to? Who are you talking to? Who is this scripture speaking of? All right, that he would receive the uttermost parts of the earth. Okay, now let's get a few more scriptures. I want to get dealing with this subject matter. I don't have a list, but as the spirit flows. Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. Like I said, let's go to Genesis. Right? Because if you're a Torah only Israelite and you only the law, and you don't believe in a Messiah that came to die for your sins and gave you the ability to repent through faith, then where is your temple? Because if you're gonna go based upon the law, you're supposed to have a temple. Where's the Levitical priesthood? Where's Aaron and his sons? Right? Where's your sacrifices? Your sin sacrifices, your peace offerings, your sheaf offerings. See, that's why I said they only lean on that element out of sheer rebellion in the spirit against Mashiach Yahushua. That's all it is, man. Like, for instance, this dude that came to the camp, he was trying to clown a brother about balding, right? Which, number one, is outrageously ignorant, all right? Because I'm going to show you how he didn't know the law. So then I pulled the law where the scriptures say that, because the scriptures say in the law that you're not supposed to bald your head, right? So if you purposely bald your head, like here it is, your hair just grow, and you take a razor to it. Even with me balding, you take a razor and you shave all this shit off, or you shave your head on purpose, you're going off. But me balding, that's not a sin, and that's in the scriptures, right? Because his thing was like, well, you should just shave that shit off. And I'm like, well, the law tells us not to shave. Going to show you, Jake don't really know the law. They just say that to be contentious. Okay, so let's go to Genesis. Let's see. Let's go to Genesis 49. Give me 1 second. This is Genesis 49 and 8, and it says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. Which a lot of these Old Testament Israelites, they they can't break this down. They just go from an element of, black people. The 12 tribes are black. Like I said, there's, to be quite honest with you, the only skilled individuals in this world of Israel, that's why we still give a level of respect and deal with it in a spiritual sense, is these camps that sprouted out of One West. All this other outside of that, Hebrewism, man, is outrageously off. Okay, the Lord is not dealing in any of these spaces. Okay, now this is, like I said, they couldn't even break this down. This is Genesis 49 and 9 again. It says, Judah's a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He sprouted down. He croucheth as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Now, hold on. I just thought about something. The point is in 10, but I want to read 1 again. I want to read 1, not again, but I want to read 1, because, see, this is the ultimate point of, you can't deal with the scripture and not deal with the spirit of prophecy. Okay, because even this, what I'm reading, is a prophecy. The very fact that any of us to the day that claim to know that we're Israelites are saying that we're Israelites is biblical prophecy. Okay, now this is Genesis 49:1, and it says, "And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days." Okay, when did the last days come about? When did the last days start? See, the scriptures, the scriptures give you a timeline to let you know that when we say with confidence through the Spirit, we're in the last days. Matter of fact, we even take it further to give you an understanding to know that not only are we in the last days, but we are in the last milliseconds of the last days. Okay, but if you don't deal with the whole volume, you wouldn't know that. Okay, Hebrews 1 tells us that when Yahweh Shai, these these Torah only Israelites deny, he began the end of days. See, the end of days began when Yahweh Shai was birthed and came on the scene. And he came during the Roman Empire, which is the last beast. We're in the last. When you read Revelation, you wouldn't notice if you just stick to a part of the book, right? If you just stop, here it is. This is them. I'm gonna show you something visually. Make a point. Hold on real quick. We're gonna finish this Genesis. All right. Matter of fact, let's make 2 points. Just to give you a visual. All right, here we are. This is the whole volume of the book, right? The whole book, right? Closed up, the whole book, right? If you only believe in the Torah, right? That's that much of this book that the Lord gave us. That's how much. How much understanding do you think you're gonna have by just knowing that much? Matter of fact, let me get this. I want a little light. I'm in my car, right? But I want to make a point. This is the Torah, right? If you believe, hold on. I got a bunch of fingers in places. But I don't want to lose my point in Genesis. All right. So you believe in just the Torah and the Tanakh. That's that part, right? And this is the Apocrypha in the New Testament, right? You get how if you ignore these parts, it's like me handing you a calculus book, right? Or a geometry book. And you just stop at, it's a 400-page book, and you just stopped at page 75. And you act like you know everything that's going on out of just pure rebellion, you know, because when you read the Torah lines up with the books of prophecy and the history, just as much as the Torah and the Tanakh line up with the Apocrypha, just as much as the Torah, the Tanakh, and the Apocrypha line up with the epistles, the New Testament as they call, okay? Because see, we needed to understand that was history that needed to be told to us of Yahweh Shai. All right, him being born, coming to the earth, fulfilling these prophecies. The very fact that we're able to do this today is in faith of what was fulfilled when Yahweh Shai was on the scene 2,000 years ago. So that's why I wanted to make that point of in the last days, because the last days begun when Yahweh Shai came on the scene. All right. If you're saying this, then you're still waiting for a Messiah to be born to deliver us, to die for your sins. Like, you get what I'm saying? And that doesn't line up with biblical history. You know, the Bible lets us know how much further we are into biblical through secular history, and they work and where they work together. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? That's why the apostles are big on the fact that you got to know history. You would know through history when you read Daniel, the 11th chapter, when you read Daniel, the 7th chapter, and you deal with the four beasts, you realize that we're in the fourth beast, and beyond being in the fourth beast, we're in the parts of the 10 toes. So at what point between the 10 toes at the end where I'm gonna get that, Lord willingly, because the Messiah is coming back to destroy that, the statue. But let's just finish this Genesis. All right. And with that, I even still lost my place. It's all good. Let's go back to Genesis 49. This is Genesis 49:10. And it says, and the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be, biting the foal unto the vine, and his ass is cold unto the choice vine. He washes his garment in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Who is that talking about? Who is that talking about? If you're an Old Testament Israelite and you don't believe in the Messiah, then who is that talking about? Who is Shiloh? Who is known as Shiloh? Right? Who's that individual that's going to bring peace? And also, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Because see, when you go to, what is that? Isaiah 47. Bear me 1 second. 43, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bear me 1 second. No, that's not it, is it? Bear me 1 second. Not I've just quoted. Is it 63? Yep, Isaiah 63. The water, how about you, man? Shot. Who is he that cometh from Edom with that? And that's another thing. When you deal with these Old Testament Israelites, they don't proclaim who the enemy is. Who's your enemy? Who do you need to be concerned with? Who is the problem on the earth? They don't get into that. They just, like I said, it's all out of spite. They're only motivated by spite, and they got nasty, disgusting African demons on them, most of them. Most of them got dirty, Hamitic African demons on them, okay? They don't have Hebrew Israelite spirits on them. That's why I said I don't even, I don't claim them. Y'all are not, listen, until you get out of that demonic, dirty spirit that you're in, you're no brother of mine. You call on this demon, you call on Yehuda and all these different names that don't got nothing to do with the Lord. Like, you're really some off-ass niggas, okay? So it says, who is this that cometh from Edom? Yeah, to you Old Testament, who is Edom? Who is Esau? Who is Esau on the earth? And who is this coming from Edom? That who is it? Matter of fact, let me just read it because it's a question, and I'm reading it as such. So you have to answer this, okay? Who is that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? That is glorious in his apparel, travailing in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Who is mighty to save? Who is this coming from Edom with bloody garments, right? Who is mighty enough to save Save us. All right. These are questions. I'm reading. That's crazy. It's literally question marks here because I know the answer, but I should read it as such because there's question marks there. Okay. And it says, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thine garments like him that treadeth in the wine?" All right. I have trodden down the wine press, a alone, and of the people there was none with me. I would tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart. The year of my Redeemer is come. Who's the Redeemer? So this lines up. Isaiah 63 lines up with Genesis 49, and I'm gonna read it again. Um, 11, and it says, "Binding up the foal upon his vine, and his ass's coat upon the choice vine. He washes his garment in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk." So again, who is this that's coming? That's going to come on the earth and fulfill Isaiah 63:1 on down. Because even that dude, these mosquitoes, um, fulfilling this garment, fulfilling this prophecy in Isaiah 63, that's mighty to save. Okay, so again, you see in this scriptures. I'm gonna go back to Psalms 2 again. I'm gonna hold this book of Isaiah. We're gonna get a few scriptures out of Isaiah because even the Lord, when He came on the scene, even scholars know that the book of Isaiah was one of the most quoted books that Yahweh Shai quoted. Because why? Yahweh Shai was fulfilling and will and still, matter of fact, in the times to come will fulfill more scriptures. Matter of fact, when Yahweh Shai comes, that will be the fulfillment of all scriptures. Okay. What was that? Psalms 2. All right. I didn't read 9. Psalms 2 and 9. "And thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed by ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss," Lord's bad, verse 12. "Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled by a little. Blessed are all they that put their strength in him." So who is this son? Who is that you should kiss the son lest he be angry? All right. Was it King David? King David went to war, so they, to a certain extent, they weren't really afraid of angering King David. Although King David was a mighty warrior, the nation weren't necessarily spooked of him where they felt the need to kiss up to him, brown nose to him, to keep him off of their back. That didn't come to pass during the time of King David. All right. Now, even during the time of Solomon, King Solomon, there was peace. All right. But that peace only lasted for how long? It wasn't forever. So did this come to pass during, would you say it came during the time of Solomon? Because Solomon didn't possess all the uttermost parts of the earth. All right. He came over here and he took resources from over here, thus saith the scriptures, but he didn't possess this. All right. This wasn't like another extension of Israel. He didn't possess the land of Africa, or land of Ham, I should say. He didn't possess South America. All right. Now, King Solomon had rule over where majority of the world was at. You got to remember that all the nations were still rooted on the other side of the world, and the Middle East and in Asia Minor, India, parts of Africa, or Africa, I should say, and those lands. People weren't over here yet. Okay. Were people coming over here? Yes. Was this a settlement? No. Okay. So who is this kiss the son? Who, you said you got to answer these questions. All right. Now let's go back to I want to stay in the Torah or the laws. Let's go to Deuteronomy because I just did Genesis 49 about Judah and Shiloh and a peace peace or the lawgiver shall not depart, because who became the priest, who is ultimately, and Elder Yashawamba spoke on this, but ultimately who is that priest? Who's our high priest? All right. See, a lot of you speak about the law, but if you are an Old Testament, if you're not a Levitical priest and you don't go back to the sons of Aaron, then really you don't got nothing to do with the law. You really need to chill out. All right. If you really want to get technical, but it was the one that you are denying who gave us access to be able to do these things. Okay. So this is Deuteronomy. Is it Deuteronomy 18? Give me 1 second. Yep, this is Deuteronomy 18 and 17. And it reads, and the Lord said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him, speak of that, or that which speak in the name of other gods, even the prophet shall die. Now, this is really speaking to the ultimate prophet is Yahweh Shai, because these are his words. That's why I say, and Elder Yashawamba made a great point that truly truly Yahweh Shai is the Lord's priest. Okay. See, the Lord said in Matthew the 6th, the Lord's Prayer. What did he say? Let thy will be done as it is in heaven, as it is in earth, right? Right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kwarash Haya Shemka Yahweh Malak Waka Thaba'a Ratazaka Haya Asha Bashemayim the Thunlanawa. So yeah, in it will be done as it is in heaven, as it is in earth, is what I'm getting to, right? So the order of things on the earth is set and is established in the spirit. That's why everything on the earth now is out of whack, because it's not according to the spirit above. Okay. See, Esau has that. He's wrong. He's right, but he's wrong. As above is so below. But he uses that in wickedness. But in righteousness, that's true. As above, below. What the Lord has a set up above in righteousness for us is what we're supposed to do down here on this realm. Okay. So Yahweh Shai is the ultimate prophet. Okay. So now let's get a few more scriptures. Let's go back to Isaiah. Go to Isaiah 11 and 1, and it reads, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Who is this talking about? Right? Now we understand that King David did come out of the stem of Jesse through the biblical lineage, right? But as we know through reading, right, that you would get, even because if you deal with the prophecies, that you would still have to, then we could go dealing with the history, or dealing with King David, where the Lord came to him through Nathaniel and told him that that son that came out of him would be the one that would be his begotten son. Okay, so it wasn't David. Okay, David's very important. David is a quintessential Israelite, but David is not the Lord. That's why David went off. King David went off. See, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, is the only one that did it perfectly in the flesh. Okay, everybody else went off. That's of the Lord's glory. He's the one that came on the earth and did it in perfection and died for us. Okay. Now it says, and the spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, and the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and shall make him of a quick understanding. Because see, he was in the, when you deal with Yahweh Shai, he was a young man. I mean, in today's standards, he would be considered a young boy, but he was a young man when he was 12 years old in the temple teaching. All right. It's of a quick understanding. Okay. These were all points to prove who he was. That speaking of that authority at such a young age, hell, even to be 30 and on the scene doing what he was doing. And you know, those priests and those Sadduceans and the wicked scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees, a lot of those individuals, you think that they were 23-year-old men. You know, he was battling men that were probably in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Hell, some of them could have been in their 80s. Who knows? Men were a lot much healthier back then. So he was 30 years old battling men that were probably double his age. So that's of a quick understanding. All right. And it reads, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove the iniquity, reprove with equity for the meek of the earth, and he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth. See, there's a what am I trying to say? A correlation. Every time you read of Yahweh Shai in these scriptures, it deals with a rod, right? Now, who carries a rod? Kings carry scepters, and my point that I want to get to is shepherds. Shepherds carry a rod. So, who is this individual that's leading the sheep? The sheep that so follow whithersoever he goeth. That's Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, the point of the now again, King David, which was Peter, was the head apostle, right? So he was a leader, but who was he answering to? Yahweh Shai, which is going into another point, which is another heavier point in the spirit, which if you dealing, but this is, like I said, this is not to them. I'm not doing this lesson hoping to convert some grimy ass Old Testament nigga. All right, this is for the but if it does, let me be honest, if it does, that's what this is about. But my message is to the sincere ones that are following Yahweh Shai and edifying, because the Lord is prophesied throughout the scriptures. Okay, so it reads, reading on, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. So again, if you were going to say this is King David, when did King David ever slay the wicked with the breath of his mouth? Who ever slayed the wicked? Now you're going to say Elijah? You're going to say Elijah? Right? That's the only one where you could say, well, he prayed to the heavens and the Lord brought fire down. All right. But this doesn't apply to Elijah. Okay? Because how could this apply to Elijah when Elijah came in the book of, what is it? Elijah is spoken on. You can read about Elijah in the book of Kings. All right. Which is that far back. This is Kings this way, and this is where we are. So again, how is this prophecy speaking on Elijah unless you're saying that this will be Elijah again? But does Elijah's bloodline go through the root of Jesse? So this is why you know a lot of these dudes, they're not on a level, because even if you just had these thoughts and you pondered on them enough through the spirit, you would get your answers. Okay? Now it says, if the spirit was dealing with you, let me not say that. If the spirit was dealing with you, you would get these answers. Okay? Now it says, and righteousness shall be the girdle girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. All right. Now, man, I just keep going. I'm gonna stop here after I finish here. And it says, and the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. Who is this mighty to change the spirit of how animals deal with each other? Who is this mighty? Who is this? Who is coming out of the line of Jesse? This mighty to be able to change the dynamic of, like, you put a lamb in the front of a bunch of sheep, in front of a bunch of wolves right now, and you see what the hell happened. You put a goat in front of a leopard, one of the most ferocious feline animals, cats on the planet. You put that in front of it and see what happened. You put a calf in front of a young lion right now and see what happened. Who is powerful enough to change the trajectory of how animals deal with each other? And it says, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the ass, and the weaning child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. Of course, this is going into the kingdom of heaven, which will come at the end of the days, when the end of days is fulfilled, when all the prophecies is fulfilled. This is on the other side of that. But they don't go into that, because why? They don't have the answers. They would have to make up bullshit ass. If you are only dealing with the law, you got to come up with a bunch of bullshit ass prophecies to lead a bunch of stupid people to follow you. Because what is the next step? What's the next step? Are you looking for a deliverer? Or are we looking to get delivered out of America? Or do you believe that, like I said, do you believe America is going to be destroyed? Because what would lead you to believe that America is going to be destroyed if you're only a Torah-based Israelite? Do you just have the spirit on you and it tells you, yeah, this place is going to be destroyed? Thus saith the Most High. Yeah, definitely. Just the most. Like, stop it. Stop it. All right? Because when I read in Isaiah 63 about coming from Basra with his garments dyed of basically from grapes or blood, this is Edom. This place carries the spirit of, this is Edom. This is Rome. This is the Greco-Roman Empire over again. This is the spirit of Babylon. Ancient Babylon is here. The spirit of the Medo-Persian Empire is here. The Chaldeans, Nivea, all of those spirits are here. Okay, so it reads, and they shall not hurt nor destroy in my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, and the Gentiles shall seek, and his rest shall be glorious. So who was that sign that's coming out of the root of Jesse, that the people, which is speaking about in this, the Gentiles, these are Israelites, okay, shall seek after him. All right. So who is this? Who's seeking? Are people on the planet Earth seeking after King David? Are Israelites crying out after David? Are y'all even crying out after David? And by no means is this any disregards or belittling to King David. King David, like I said, I stated this from the beginning, that he is the primary earthly king under Yahweh Shai. That's why I linked King David to the apostle Peter, which Peter was the head disciple, the head apostle under Yahweh Shai. Right? If you love me, feed my sheep. He's the head shepherd. But you can't line, him being a shepherd, even so, he does not fulfill these prophecies. Even though King David came out of the line of Jesse, he does not fulfill this prophecy. Okay? Now it reads, and why would King David say that he would just be having in the kingdom of heaven if it's his? That's why I said the house of David is the organization, right? Like, think about it. If you look at the NBA, right, the National Basketball Association, it's You have the NBA, and the NBA, all right, runs these teams. The teams are owned by individuals, right? But the NBA is the over that they all come under the umbrella of the NBA, if that's what I'm trying to say. The Atlanta Hawks, the LA Lakers, right? Bear me 1 second. Do a water break. Hold on real quick. I'm live, but what's up? Okay, I'll deal with it when I come in. I'm about to come in a second. Oh my God. Yeah, so let's deal with this Isaiah, right? Now it says, and it shall pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time, right? That's the time that we're waiting on. So again, are y'all waiting on, who are y'all waiting on to fulfill these points, right? The second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Who is doing this? Who? Who? What is your answer? Torah only Israelites. All right. Now again, they deal with the Torah, but then they don't deal with these prophecies. But that's why I said, again, they have a lesser understanding than a Jake that deals with the Torah and the books of prophecy. Cause like I said, if you just deal with the books of the law, okay, so now you have the law. Now what? You woke up. You woke up. We deal with the law, right? Which I'm gonna probably do another stream after this, dealing with the law. But you deal with the law. Now you keep the land Sabbath. You know, you got a bunch of wives, shit like that, right? But what's next? What are we doing? Why are we not in our? Why are we not in our land? Why? How do we get back to our land? When are we gonna get back to Israel, the Holy Land, so we can be in our land where the Lord promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Right? Matter of fact, I know I said I was done, but let me get one more, since the Spirit is still on me to do it. Let's go to Genesis. We can go to Genesis. Never mind. Don't even worry about it. So that's it. I'm gonna close this out. I pray this lesson was edifying and informative. I want to give all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh, Hashem, Kakwadash, my apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word in truth and on sincerity.